Welcome to my channel Chemistry Drive with Najmun Nisa. Students, how are you? Hope you are doing well. We are meeting after such a long time. Actually, I was busy in some project work. Now your term 2 has been started and we are coming up with your next chapter, electrochemistry, that is chapter number 3. So let's start. Now, what is electrochemistry? Electrochemistry, it is that branch of chemistry that deals with the production of electricity from the chemical reaction. So, whatever the energy that is being produced from the chemical reaction is being utilized in the production of electrical energy. Now, if we look at what are the importance of electrochemistry is, that is it is used in the production of metals like sodium, magnesium and aluminium. The number second is electroplating. Electrochemistry finds use in electroplating. That is, in order to prevent the corrosion, one metal is coated over the other in order to prevent the corrosion. This is electroplating. Now, it is also being utilized in the purification of metals and in the use of batteries and cells that are being used in various instruments. So, now we want to know the types of conductors. What are conductors? First, we should know what are conductors. Substances that conduct electricity, they are known as conductors. Now, if you look at the types of conductors, number one is metallic conductors. What are metallic conductors? Substances which allow the electric current to pass through them, they are known as metallic conductors, and that is possible just because they have free electrons. You know, metals are electropositive metals. They release electrons and that's why they are known as electropositive metals. So they are possible and that's why they produce current, because they have free electrons in them. Okay. Next is electrolytic conductors or electrolytes. Now, what are electrolytes? Students, you must have studied about, you know about the common salt, that is table salt. It does not conduct electricity when it is in the form of solid state. Now, when you dissolve that sodium chloride in water, now it becomes the electrolyte. So, electrolyte starts functioning as soon as they get converted in some aqueous form of it. So, electrolytes, they allow the passage of electricity through their fused state, that is melted state, or in the form of aqueous solutions, and they undergo chemical decomposition. Such a substance is known as electrolyte. Okay, for example, aqueous solutions of acids, bases and salts. Now, electrolytes, if you look at the electrolytes, there are two types: strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. What are strong electrolytes? The electrolytes that dissociate completely into ions, they are known as strong electrolytes, like nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and the electrolytes that are not able to dissociate completely, thoroughly, they are known as weak electrolytes. And if you look at the example of weak electrolytes, they are no doubt acetic acid, carbonic acid, ammonium hydroxide and hydrogen sulfide. The most important thing is the students have a great confusion of the difference between the electrochemical cell and electrolytic cell. So let's have a look at the differences between the electrochemical cell and electrolytic cell. If we look at its definition, a device that is used to convert chemical energy into electrical energy, that is the electrochemical cell. Now, electrolytic cell, it is a device that is used to carry out non-spontaneous chemical reactions by electrical energy. The second thing, now if we look at the assembly, it consists of two half cells containing the same or different electrodes having in the same electrolyte or different electrolytes. Whereas, if we look at the electrolytic cell, it is a single cell that containing the same electrolytes present in the same electrolyte. It consists of the same electrodes. Now, the nature of electrodes, if we look at the electrodes in the electrochemical cell, anode is negative and cathode is positive. Whereas in the case of electrolytic cell, anode is positive and cathode is negative. Now, this is the reverse mechanism, you can say. And if you look at the movement of the electrons, the electrons move in the electrochemical cell from anode to cathode. Whereas in the electrolytic cell, the electrons moves from cathode to anode, that is they leave by anode, spontaneity. the cell reaction is spontaneous in the case of electrochemical cell, whereas in the case of electrolytic cell, the cell reaction is non-spontaneous. Now, if we just see about the salt bridge is required in electrochemical cell, whereas in the case of electrolytic cell, no salt bridge is required. Galvanic cell. It is also known as voltaic cell, so don't get confused with the voltaic cell and the galvanic cell. They are one and the same thing. If we look at the representation of the electrochemical cell, then the cell is represented. Suppose I am taking two metals, you know it consists of two metals. So, we are taking two metals M1, it will get oxidized to Mn positive. This is the symbol of salt bridge. This is the second metal that is showing the reduction. Now it has come up into the solid state. This one, the ionic state, they are always in the aqueous state, and this metal will be also in the solid state. So this portion, it acts as anode. That is, the oxidation process, it occurs at anode, whereas this portion is known as cathode, and it occurs at, and the reduction process occurs at cathode. I hope it's clear. You know very well what is oxidation and what is reduction. Oxidation is removal of electrons, oxidation is removal of electrons, removal of hydrogen, addition of oxygen or addition of electronegative element, whereas reduction is addition of hydrogen, addition of electrons, addition of any electropositive matter, so and the removal of oxygen. So these are the four ways in which we can define oxidation and reduction. If we look at the features, the basic features of electrochemical cell, the number one is that there is no evolution of heat. The second is the solution remains neutral on both the sides, and the reaction and the flow of electrons, it stops over some time because the equilibrium condition gets reached. Now if you look at the Daniell cell, you can say it is a couple of zinc anode that is dipped in the zinc sulfate solution. It consists of zinc electrode that is being dipped in zinc sulfate solution, and it consists of copper electrode present in copper sulfate solutions. These both are connected with the help of voltmeter in order to know the electrode potential between the two, and definitely they are also connected with some salt bridge. Later we are going to study what is the use of salt bridge. As I have told you that at anode oxidation will occur, so here zinc will get oxidized and it will release two electrons. These two electrons, it will be gained up by the copper ion and it will get converted into copper. If we just add these two reactions, that is oxidation and reduction, we are getting the redox reaction. That's very simple. Try to practice it on your own. Now, next is functions of salt bridge. So, it completes the circuit and allows the flow of electrons. So, what is the necessity of salt bridges? It allows the flow of electrons easily. Now, in salt bridge, it maintains the electrical neutrality on both the sides. That is, the salt bridge generally contains solution of some strong electrolyte like KNO3 or KCl. Now, why? This is preferred because the transport numbers of both the potassium ion and the chloride ion remains the same. So, the basic function of the salt bridge is to maintain the electrical neutrality of the cell. That's all about the electrochemical cell. In my next video, we will be discussing about the conductance. Thank you so much.